Bill, big day ahead. Glad you're here. Big question now. Earnings or Fed? Which one is top of mind for you when it comes to the markets?
I'm going to push and say both, but I guess the earnings will dominate the morning, and then the Fed will take over in the afternoon.
All right, hey, there you go. Clean answer there. You said push, and then you gave us a real answer. I like that one. So, obviously, Bill, so much going on right now just in the global economy and just the world in general. We have the Delta variant. We have inflation here in the United States, also in other parts of the world. We have the 10-year, those yields down from a month ago. We have the yield curve flattening. How do you see that impacting the market before we get that Fed news conference at 2 o'clock?
Well, I mean, it's been really kind of hanging over the market. So you've seen some of the more economically sensitive companies, frankly, I'm going to say the banks are probably the easiest one to point to, not trading well, despite the fact that, the market hitting all-time highs quite often during the period. And I think that's really showing you underneath the surface, the worry is that, we might be, going into some more difficult, economic growth comparisons. But and part of that's, probably chalk that up to worries about the variants, and also worries about perhaps the Fed being too aggressive in taking away stimulus.
So, Bill, Starbucks and Apple reporting last night. Generally, these companies are a pretty solid read on the state of the consumer. You saw the numbers. What did you take away about these companies and about consumer spending as we enter the, Delta variant influence recovery?
Yeah, I mean, what you can say about it is the U.S. consumer is alive and well, at least for things that they really want. So Starbucks now posting better results or better, sales than they were pre-pandemic. I think, when you think back on it, remember the times when we were in the midst of lockdown, people say, will people go back to their, coffee fix, or at least going to Starbucks for it because you're not in the office? I mean, I certainly worried about that. Well, don't worry no longer because they knocked it out of the park. Probably the only concerns out of Starbucks are really that coffee prices have been going up quite a bit. They said they have the ability to raise prices. So, kind of think about, when we talked about inflation earlier, the second part for them is a little worries about the international. And there you go with the variant side. They've seen some pressure on their Japanese and Chinese sales, frankly, from, lower mobility. Go over to Apple again, knocked it out of the park. I mean, they didn't have any problems selling phones or their different products during COVID, frankly, but then they more than doubled earnings now in a quarter basis. So, their issue is really, when you go and look at it, is they talked about that they've got supply chain issues and they probably won't be able to ship as much product as people want. So all in one, you've kind of got all the issues we're dealing with out there within these two companies.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.